Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and this is another episode of Living Enlightened Every Day. I love helping people to integrate spirit, mind, and body in order to live each day with that deep sense of passion, purpose, and fulfillment. Most of all, myself. I want to love my life and live my passion. And through these explorations, the conversations and dialogues that I'm sharing with you, it's how I am learning to do that more and more every single day with all the things that are showing up in my life. That helps me move into a greater expression of myself, my highest self. So I hope you'll join me. Today we're exploring the concept of self-love. Something I'm struggling a bit with lately. I hope you'll explore with me. This week, I'm asking myself, what is self-love? And I've been contemplating this for over a month. But it was really put to me by someone very special that the highest form of spirituality just might be self-love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Well, how are we going to love our neighbor if we're not loving ourselves? That's an interesting question. I could probably talk all day about, I don't know, the love of God, the love of a mother, love of a family, love of life. And yet I've recently experienced some blocks around self-love. So we're going to explore that today. I thought about that because I've recently come to the understanding that some of these major decisions that I've been making in my life were not based on loving myself. And inevitably, they didn't end well. Got me curious. What is self-love? And the first concept that came to me is that I have to choose to love myself first. First. Choose me first. And after some deep meditation, because that's even hard just for me to say, as a mom, as a minister, as a teacher, as a daughter, I want to say yes. I want to think that I can serve others first. But it really came to me. I was reminded about when my son was born, and somewhere in my mind, I've translated that the things I needed to do for him, how I needed to take care of him, was putting his needs first. But the fact is that for me to be the greatest mom for him, which is exactly what I knew I wanted to be from the moment I found out that I was pregnant, that I was meant to be a great mom for him. That was my life's purpose, and I was thrilled. But in order to do that, I instinctively knew that I had to take care of myself first. I became the most important person in my life because of him. Everything that I did for him, I had to do for me first. I didn't say to this little tiny baby, where do you want to live? What do you want to eat? How do you want to show up in the world? I was going to have to make those decisions for him. And so I had to decide what was going to serve me in being the best mom so that I could do those things, so I could do what I thought was right for him. I could see it, so clearly. He was in my life for this amazing reason. And that meant I had to do everything for me that would put me in a position to be that. That's empowering. That's self love. I had to practice self love in order to be available as the best mom. I didn't know or think about the process of what I was doing until just now. And, I was fierce. I wasn't going to let anyone stand in the way of me providing this safe, loving, and creative environment for me and my son. It's like I just felt like mama bear, tigress, fire breathing dragon, probably most of the time. But for me to be my best self, the greatest mom, I knew I had to be in a safe and loving environment. I had to have enough money and friends and family. I had to feel like I could be authentically me in my expression so that I could teach him that by example. I felt like I had to put myself in a position that I could be the most me. I could love him the most, support him the most in the unfoldment of his unique expression by being my unique expression. I guess I always thought that I was taking care of him and putting his needs first, but I wasn't really. I was putting my needs first, asking, who do I need to be to show up as the best mom? Where do I need to live? Not where does he need to live? Where do I need to live to show up as his best mom? What situations and relationships do I need to be in or not be in order to feel this love that was inside me, to feel supported in being the best mom? What kind of job was going to allow me to feel good about myself and about, my income, about my energy, about the quality of time that I could spend with him so that every moment that I did spend with him was an important moment. It was full. So, how could I be fully and completely available to him? I needed to take care of my needs first. That's what I've been coming to as self love. And I had it. I was, like I said, mama bear about that. That's self love. In order to give love, we can't give what we don't have. When you're in an airplane and they say when the oxygen masks fall from the ceiling, you put your own mask on first before you try to help the person next to you. Because what good are two people gasping for air going to be, right? You got to take care of yourself first. And then we have oxygen, energy, vitality, freedom to help others. And I've never looked at it in this powerful way. And I didn't call it that at the time, but that's what I did. And somewhere along the line, I have kind of lost that, fallen back into this idea that I can take care of other people and not take care of myself first. But the opposite is true. I can take care of other people when I am taking care of myself. It's easy to take care of other people when I'm putting myself in an environment where I feel safe and nurtured, where I am, growing and expanding in my capabilities of expressing and experiencing love and power and creativity and authenticity. I can absolutely help others and have the energy and the vitality and the inspiration to know how to help others when I am taking care of myself first. But when I think about it the other way, if I am not in that position, if, my job or my vocation or my relationship is draining me, if I am strained, if I'm just overtaxed, overwhelmed, stressed out, and not, releasing that stress daily through exercise or spiritual practice or meditation or yoga, if I'm not releasing those stresses or piling up and it saps the energy right out of me. And all of a sudden, I'm saying, oh, God, no, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for this. I don't have time to volunteer. I can't help you with this. I can't participate in that. I can't, spend another minute. I just need to curl up on the couch. I mean, have you ever felt like that? I know I have. And then we think, okay, I'll leave it with me. I think that curling up on the couch is self love, but it's really not. It's the result of not having self love that our energy is low, our vitality is low. We can't see our own gifts because we're not nurturing ourself. And I realized that choosing myself first, the way I did when my son was born, of course, through his whole life, I've done that. It's choosing to put myself in a position of loving myself, of honoring myself, nurturing myself so I can be of the most value to anyone else in my life. When we are loving our life and living our passion, energy is unblocked. Creativity flows. It's flowing through us and we're releasing it into our relationships, into our families, into our kids or our parents, our neighbors, our friends, our work, our community, our world. We're able to give back because we are receiving so much from within. It's not anything out there. It's self-love. The flow is open when we say yes to ourselves, yes to our needs, yes to who we are and our unique, authentic expression. That opens that cycle to be able to give and nurture and take care of others. And the opposite of that is true. If we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not choosing ourselves first, then what are we choosing? Who's choosing for us? We're subject to the relationships we're in, the job that we're in, the financial situation we're in. We're saying yes to all of that while we're saying no to our basic needs. We stifle who we are literally. We've said, no, we're not worthy. We're not good enough. Our self is not worthy of being chosen first. Oh, yeah. Ask me how I know this. In a recent relationship, that ended, I had realized early on, I was so clear. I was so proud of myself. I'm a pretty good communicator about my needs and my wants. And I knew that there was only one thing I really needed or wanted in a relationship. I have so much in this world. I have my health and my son and my son's health and a beautiful home and cars, and I live at the beach and a beautiful family, a spiritual community, the support system. I live in paradise. And I knew that the only thing missing, in a relationship was this deep sense of connection in an intimate, romantic partnership. And early on, I could communicate that in this relationship and say, this is the one thing that I need or want. And this person was so beautifully able to say, wow, I don't think I can do that, but I want to. And this was the pivotal moment. And I said, well, I can help you with that. Mm. There's this wonderful saying, you get what you say yes to. You get what you say yes to. And that means that whenever we're contemplating a decision or something that's coming into our lives, what we say yes to keeps coming, right? We're inviting it in, we're allowing it in. And that opposite is true as well. We don't get what we say no to. If somebody asks us to do something and we don't feel that we have the time or the energy or the inclination, or it's just not in our wheelhouse, it's not on my schedule right now, we don't participate. We say, no, I'm sorry. It can be like a kind of boundary, even for behaviors. It's like, I don't participate in that right now, or the way people are treating us. We say no. So when I said, yes, I will help you become that, I was saying no to the only thing I knew I needed in a relationship. I was saying no to myself. And I was so clear. But whatever was in the way for me to say no to myself and yes to not getting what I wanted. Yeah, it was out of love. Yes, out of support to this other person. Yes. But guess what? It was two people gasping for air. No one got what they wanted or really needed. That wasn't the relationship either of us wanted. And so, my huge lesson right now, ah, self love, choosing myself first in love, not my ego, not out of past conditioning, not out of being right. Clear, we're just truly turning within and asking, what are my needs, desires, and wants for my authentic expression of love, my experience of love? You know, it's like when we really ask ourselves, who am I being in this relationship or in this situation or in this job? Am I being fully and completely myself, my true nature, in love, in joy, in power, in presence? Am I being that? Am I loving myself? I decided to sit with this, of course, as you can tell. And I had a conversation with God, as I do. I sit quietly, I go into meditation, and I actually wrote it out. And part of the writing was, I wrote to God, I just found myself serving Him, and it wasn't enough. And I heard it wasn't enough because you can't deny yourself and serve someone else. Like the oxygen masks on the airplane. You can't say, no, no oxygen for me. Let me just help everyone else put on their mask. Not going to work. It's never going to work. It's the love that we are giving ourselves is opens the capacity to love others. But I didn't have time to beat myself up about it because this clarity, this insight into self-love has come so quickly, and it's brought with it this beautiful world of change. And I'm so excited about all these changes that are happening in my life and all the amazing new people that are coming into my life. I'll talk about that very soon. But now I just have this remembrance of fierce self-love and how that served me and my son, and that I can choose that in every situation. Loving myself first allows me to love everyone. When I place myself in an environment, in situations that I feel myself loved and supported, then I can feel like I am flourishing, thriving. And that's what I offer anyone who comes into my beingness, you know. I allow them to flourish and thrive. We have that exchange, not an exchange of need or denial. So why didn't I choose that in this relationship? I don't know. I don't know. Well, I do. I can see some patterns in my past, which is all good and wonderful. But right now, in this moment, I can take what I do know about self-love and move with this full heart into more and more love. And there were just so many blessings in that relationship, so many wonderful things, insights and revelations that were beautiful. And now with that, I have this other blessing of moving into a deeper understanding of loving myself. And so I invite you, with my story to find out where in your life are you saying no to yourself? Where are you saying no? And you can see that you're maybe not thriving. Like you might be okay, but you're not thriving. And that which you are trying to serve isn't really thriving either. And all it took for me is kind of this backtracking into this pivotal moment and knowing that I can choose again. I can go back to the beginning, love myself, choose again, and just ask, who am I being now? Right now, in this moment, is my heart open? Am I open and allowing myself to love who I am in this moment? Because right now, I know that's where I need to be. Some of us need to be in our power and in our creativity and in our passion, but it's always through self-love. In essence, the power of choice and self-love extends to who we are being in our lives. And are we fully embracing ourselves with love, joy, power, and presence? Or are we, suppressing, saying no to certain aspects of ourselves in order to be liked, to be loved, to be accepted, to collect a paycheck? Self love choosing ourselves first and trusting that the power of self-love is attracting to us our highest good and the highest good for all concerned. We don't have to sacrifice ourselves for someone else's highest good. So self-love is choosing ourselves first. Remember the oxygen mask first. We can do anything when we are self-empowered, and that self is capital S, with the love and the light of God itself. Self-love is ultimately, it's our responsibility to love ourselves fully and completely so that we are filled full and that is overflowing. And now we have something to offer the others, our romantic partnerships, our familial relationships, our children, our work, our friendships, anything that comes into our lives. We're full. We can love everything and everyone. Self-love is reminding ourselves of the truth of our being. What are we telling ourselves about us? That we can live without certain things, that we can do without, or there's a subtle understanding that we're not worthy. But what we want to say is, I am beautiful, worthy, loving, filled with the energy and vitality of self-love. I can be in a loving, fulfilling relationship. I believe that all of this is possible. It's loving ourselves through our self-talk, through our I am statements. And believe me, self-love is for the mistakes and the seeming failures, the seeming mistakes, the endings, which when we really love ourselves, every ending is just a new beginning. It's a new beginning, a new opportunity to love ourselves, to bless ourselves, to bless what has happened, what we have experienced, to bless the ending and finding the gifts in what has transpired, and then realizing the possibilities for a new beginning. Self-love is a new beginning every single time, every single day. I die daily to the past, to what was, to what's happened. And I live in a new moment of love flowing freely in, through, and as me. So self-love is really connecting to source first, spirit first, and mind and body, integrating all of it. The integrated whole. We can't think that we're loving others and that's enough. It's connecting to source, knowing that we are love itself, the divine expression of love, and we must love our love. We must love ourselves. I'm talking to myself here, right? This is for me, and I hope that this means something for you, and it will mean something when we explore those areas of our lives that are not quite working right. We don't have to look out there. We don't have to fix anyone. We just look in the mirror, look into our soul, ourself, and love ourself. That heals everything and anything. We cannot love ourself while hating some aspect of ourselves. We can't love ourselves and hate our body, hate our age, hate our hair, our job. We can't hate our creative expression, and I'm using this word hate. We, don't even dislike it. Love it. Things out there don't move because we don't like it. Things move and shift when we love, when we come from love. Love is the power of creativity. We create what we love when we love ourselves. Wow, that's my lesson. That's my lesson that I'm living daily, 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 moment by moment. I invite you to join me. Let me know where you are in this, how this affects you. Self-love, choosing ourselves first. Thank you for being here. I am Elizabeth Cantey. You can find out more about me at elizabethcantey.com. And I talk about concepts like this, my ideas in my book, Living Enlightened, the joy of integrating spirit, mind, and body. And I invite you to order that on Amazon. And I invite you this week to laugh, to love yourself first, and to live enlightened every day.
Thanks for watching. Join us again next Tuesday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time for Living Enlightened with Elizabeth Cantey. Integrating your spirit, mind, and body. Learn more at www.ntmedia.org.